What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And I want to speak on a recent show podcast that I seen with what was the guy name? Jason Whitlock. And Jason Whitlock, and I've been hearing a lot of people say about um Stephen A. Smith might possibly run for president, right? And so Jason Whitlock, that's what his podcast was about. Donald Trump gave an endorsement to Stephen A. Smith, and like I don't know, like it seems to me like politics have changed. Like it used to be like politicians were more like public servants, and like the Democrats helped out the people who were like poor and middle class. The Democrats represent them poor and middle class people. Republicans protected the interests of like the wealthy people, made sure that they didn't have to pay too many taxes or, stuff like that. But now it just seems like in politics that people, it's just about like each party gaining power. Because I don't see either one of the parties, Democrat or Republican, and I don't really endorse either party, right? Yeah, but I don't see either party like, speaking like, well, we're going to do this for the people or we're going to do that for the people. Like it seems like public service as far as politicians are concerned is like out the door. That's like they don't even talk about like what they can do for their for the people that support their party. But I do want to because and I say that too also because like Stephen A. Smith he don't strike me as a person who is like who's a what do they call a philanthropist or somebody who donates of his time and or he I don't know of any causes that Stephen A. Smith supports. All I know about Stephen A. Smith is the fact that he's a sports guy. I never seen him support any political cause. So I don't know why people would consider him, worthy for any type of office. But let me listen to what Jason Whitlock has to say. And I don't know what's this. I keep forgetting this Korean guy name. But I'm gonna listen to what they had to say, and then I'm gonna make comments.
Donald Trump yesterday, and what I find fascinating is not just Trump's endorsement, it's the fact that Disney is allowing Stephen A. Smith to go on this political campaign. Stephen A. Smith's brand is attached to the NBA. I don't know if you know that. Mm-hmm. And there was an elimination game for LeBron James last night that we talked about at the top of the show. This is a big story. LeBron James. Stephen A. last night is somewhere with Bill O'Reilly and Andrew Cuomo talking politics, and Donald Trump is calling in to endorse Stephen A. Smith as a 2028 presidential nominee. Let's play SOT 13.
Stephen A. Smith may run for president, as you know. Do you have any advice for Stephen A. If he launches the run?
Now I want to stop it right there real quick though. Like when a host of this show, Stephen A. Smith is sitting on a panel, right? And when a host of this show announced that Stephen A. Smith may be running for president one day, and they talking about 2028, the audience kind of laughed. I don't know y'all if you could hear it. They laughed a little bit and they chuckled, right? And Stephen A. Smith kind of covered his face. So that number one, that just lets me know that people really right now are not really respecting Stephen A. Smith as a legitimate candidate. And then the fact that Stephen A. Smith, I know I'm not playing the video to this, but Stephen A. Smith also like kind of chuckled and put his head in his hand, laughing it off. So to a certain extent, Stephen A. Smith right now is not taking himself serious, right? And so, but I think if they continue to endorse Stephen A. Smith, then he'll start to come around and start to play the part, and then people will start to accept that Stephen A. Smith, is serious about his run for office. But let me go back to this.
No, Stephen A. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. I love watching him. He's got great entertainment skills, which is very important. People watch him. You know, a lot of these Democrats I watch, I say they have no chance. I've been pretty good at picking people and picking candidates, and I will tell you, I'd love to see him run.
All right, there you
See, and to me again, Donald Trump said he's entertaining, right? And to me, that's what it seems like right now. Like politics is more so of a popularity contest, like running for public office. And so now, and that's not to say that this is something new. I remember they had Ronald Reagan. He was an actor before he ran for president. Arnold Schwarzenegger was an actor before he ran for president. Jesse the Body Ventura was a professional wrestler, before he ran for I think governor in Minnesota. So and you've had other people who have been in the entertainment business who have been around the country, been able to get into different public offices. So that's not anything new, right? But and so I think that Stephen A. Smith is just following right now. He's just following that same, that same business model or model.
go.
All right, let me see. All right, so we got a commercial. I'm gonna fast forward through this commercial and then get back to it.
Boom. Donald Trump has joined Stephen A. Smith's campaign for the presidency in 2028. Doesn't surprise me. I've been on this topic, but it does surprise me that they're paying the guy $20 million a year at ESPN, and he doesn't even have to pay attention to sports. I'm sure he's on ESPN at some point this morning acting like his whole life was built around that Lakers Timberwolves game, and it just wasn't. He's out campaigning for president. Steve, were you surprised by this?
No, not really. And it's someone that's very conservative that would never vote for any Democrat from here on out, basically. I'm with Donald Trump. I hope he runs for president. Please, let it be. Please. In fact, let his running mate be Jazzy Jazz Ratchet. That's a dream party ticket for me. So, yes, I endorse the endorsement of Donald J. Trump.
Well, I had the same thought. Trump's baiting him into it's no different than when I heard yesterday Beto O'Rourke came out and said, if the people of Texas want me to run for the Senate, I will run. And I'm like, yes, I will donate and contribute to your campaign because it will guarantee another conservative maintains Texas.
Yes,
that's what I think Donald Trump's doing here. He's not stupid. Trump hasn't said it out loud yet, but it seems very clear to me he's handpicked J.D. Vance, who's the greatest articulator of the MAGA ideas that has ever existed. He has handpicked him to be next. He's leading on all the polls. And so, yes, would you like J.D. Vance matched up in a debate with an unhinged, totally uninformed Stephen A. Smith to embarrass the Democratic Party? Yes, that would be a dream scenario.
Now, let me ask y'all this, because you got to think about this. Donald Trump is a Republican. And if he is endorsing Stephen A. to run, on the behalf of the, to run, then maybe he is trying to bait Stephen A. Smith in, and they know that Stephen A. Smith is not, he's not the best candidate for that job. And so if this will be a way for Donald Trump, in his eyes, to maintain some level of control by having his guy be the one who really go into office the next term. And so, but could Stephen A. Smith really be this blind and this naive to fall for what Donald Trump is doing? Because even to somebody like myself who's not really that political, I also can see that Stephen A. Smith is kind of being groomed and they might be trying to set him up and put him in a position where as though they can win the office, or just he can be used and manipulated. And so this endorsement from Donald Trump, I don't think is I think it's all just a game and a setup, in my opinion. But I want to listen to some more of what they have to say about Stephen A. Smith is possibly running for president in 2028.
Yes.
Yeah, I may have to leave this alone and just accept that that's what's going on here. Bill O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, Jesse White, all the people, Sean Hay, all the people pimping out Stephen A. Smith. It's all just like, hey, yeah, let this idiot run. He's worse than Kamala Harris. This will be easy work. You think that's what's going? And maybe I need to join in on that.
That's half. The other half is they want the ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just crazy how dirty politics are, man. And I just think that, like I said, if Stephen A. Smith was a person who was, he donated to different charities, which I don't know, like he might write a check here and there, but if he donated of his time or he associated himself with different causes and stuff like that, then I can see, him being ready for this type of run for president. But he to me, it don't seem like he's qualified, except for the fact that Stephen A. Smith is very popular. And so, like, do they think like Stephen A. Smith will get the black vote? Is that why they're why they're promoting Stephen A. Smith? They think that he might get the black vote. I don't know. But I don't know. And my circle is small, but I don't think that Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, just automatically can just waltz in and get the black vote without really proving to people that he's worthy of that vote. And sometimes these politicians, they take for granted that just because somebody is black, African American, that and a Democrat, that they're going to automatically get that vote. And so I don't think that that's going to be the question right there. I think that Stephen A. Smith is, if he do decide to run for president, I think he's going to have to prove his worth. So he's not going to automatically get, an endorsement from black people just because he's black and just because he know how to talk about sports. But it's, it's just crazy. Politicians don't really talk about what they do for the community no more, or what, they don't take up, I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican. You really don't hear them talking about doing anything for the community. Like some people who have supported Donald Trump, once he got into office, he turned his back on them and left them out to dry, hanging dry. So it's, politics, man. People need to hold their politicians accountable, whether they're Democrat or Republican. And so that's my take on it. I'm gonna continue to follow this, this Stephen A. Smith for president. I know I'm laughing right now, right? But I want to hear him. I want to know, like, what is his stance on certain issues? I want to know, like, what do he plan to do for the country and do for the people of this country? I want to hear that. I want to hear what Stephen A. Smith is going to say about this stuff. But, yeah, I think he'll be a worse candidate than Kamala, because at least she was a politician, and she was around politics for the bulk of her career, and so she knows about politics. And only way I think that somebody can come in and really impress the people like that is if they, like Barack Obama. Like Barack Obama, he spoke about like really making a change in the country, but I don't know that Stephen A. Smith would be able to speak like that, like Barack Obama did. But we'll see. And that's my take on it. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Stephen A. Smith running for president. Do you think he's qualified? Or do you think that Donald Trump is really setting Stephen A. Smith up? And it's just all a political game to some people. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next episode. Peace.